Start your computations.
What is up, everyone? It's a new year, thank goodness. I think if we've gotten anything from last year, it's that we have all learned a lot. We've learned a lot about ourselves. We've learned a lot about each other and our world. I feel like I always have such a guttural feeling reaction that didn't make any sense to me, you know what I mean? To the year 2020 being over. I know I'm not alone. But last year I did a goal video and I was so pumped about 2020, y'all. Like comically pumped. And of course we all know how it all went down, but I really do feel hopeful for this year and I hope you do too. So today, what I wanted to do with you guys is just chill style, sit down with, actually I have a cup of tea today, and share with y'all what my goals are for this next year. Now I'm a big proponent of smaller, specific goals because like even when I was a teacher, I used to think about a lot like I need to make sure that my goals for my students are reachable. They should still be a challenge, but they should still be things that they can feel success. They should be able to still hit some of these goals. That's what we should be doing for ourselves. We need to set ourselves up for success. It's not to say that you should set up goals that are so easy that it's not going to be an issue. You should still be challenging yourself. But if you're saying, I'm going to work out every single day in 2021, 365 days, well, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're inevitably going to have days that you can't. I want to share with y'all what my specific smaller goals are that I do think are going to challenge me, but that are going to be good for me or good for others around me. I also want to share with you guys my successes from last year. And I want you at the end of this video, sit down with a notebook and pen or your phone or computer and write down what were you successful at last year. Everyone did something that was better than they did the last year, no matter what was going on in the world. So I want to hear from you guys. I want you to do this for yourself and then write down your goals as well. I feel like if you keep track of it year after year, it's really interesting. Like I was looking back on my last year goals. It's been very interesting to see what my goals were and what actually I hit. There were some of my goals that I did reach. So I'm going to share that with you guys too. Okay. I feel very loquacious today, so bear with me. SAT 400 word. I did want to take a second to thank today's video sponsor, which is Ritual Vitamins. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but first, I need a sip of tea. It's like scorching hot, but I need this. Oh, yeah. Also, if you see a little blob right there, that's our beagle, Pinocchio, laying in a, well, it's like a half sun patch now. So I want to share with you all my successes from last year because I'm very proud of them. One of my kind of unspoken goals I have for myself every year, but I finally did in 2020 was taking my vitamins every day. Guys, I did it. I don't think I missed a single day. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I've been taking Ritual for over a year now and I absolutely love it. So if you haven't heard me talk about it, Ritual helps women and men of all ages fill the gaps in their diet. Making smaller goals, I really do feel like sets yourself up for success. A lot of us at the turn of the new year make these huge goals. So if one of your big goals is to be healthier in 2021, one smaller goal you could set would be to take your multivitamin every day. And so I feel like that smaller step, that smaller goal of taking a multivitamin every day is helping me reach that larger goal of being healthier. And of course, in the case of vitamins, it's gonna help my long-term health. So Ritual is an obsessively researched multivitamin that contains 9 high-quality nutrients from D3 to omega-3 that can be difficult to get enough of in your diet. I love that it's got a no nausea capsule design that's gentle on an empty stomach. There's a little mint tab in every single bottle that keeps the vitamin smelling fresh every day. And it's also vegan-friendly, sugar-free, non-GMO, gluten-free, and allergen-free. And I just love how transparent this company is. If you pop on their site, you can see where every ingredient was sourced from, what it's supposed to be doing for you. And on top of that, every bottle is made from 100% recycled materials, which I think is so cool and so important. So what I take is the Ritual Essential for Women. So they also offer a men's multivitamin. They have a 50+, they have a teens one, they have a prenatal, a postnatal vitamin. They've got one for everyone. And the best part is it's only $1 a day to get 9 high quality nutrients your body needs delivered to your door. Y'all, it is the easiest step to take to reach that goal of just being healthier this year. So of course, better health doesn't happen overnight. So Ritual is offering you 10% off your first 3 months. Just go to ritual.com/JessB10 and enter code JessB10 at checkout. I will have the link and promo code also in the description box if you're interested in checking out Ritual. Thank you again, Ritual, for sponsoring this portion of the video. So continuing on with my successes, another goal I had was to read 20 books. And I did read 20 books. It's honestly more books than I think I've ever read in a year, other than maybe like in college or high school when you were reading for classes. I just got out of the habit in my adult life, and I'm so glad I've kind of gotten back into the swing of it, and I love it. We're gonna be talking more about reading in a minute. But I also have moved more than I had in previous years. I was working out more, whether that was running or doing like dance workouts. I did it so much more than I had pre-having my baby a couple years ago, but also even pre the few years before that. I had just gotten out of the habit. I would work out here and there, but it felt so good to kind of get back in the swing of things. I definitely have big goals for this next year as well with fitness. But another thing I loved that we started doing more this year was going on more walks as a family. We just realized that that's something we enjoy, a time we can kind of unplug. We can just spend a little bit of quality time as a family, but also just getting fresh air and that little bit of cardio, if you will, from walking. It just was an all-around really great thing we started doing more last year. Another thing we got better at was buying only what we need and not stocking up. We really got into a bad habit of, with food, stocking up on. I don't even mean like at the beginning of the pandemic. I mean in years prior. Like we would just stock up on stuff and we really had no reason to. There's only 3 of us in this household and a dog. And so we got much better about stocking up on less stuff and just buying from the store what we genuinely need. It seems to be a very, at least from what I've heard, a very American thing to, have pantries full of food. And I still have a pantry with food in it, but just trying to be better about not buying things that are going to eventually go bad before we ever would use them up or before we'd ever eat them. I'm totally going to end up with like a mustache here. And another thing I got better about was drinking a lot of water. This was like my year of water. I drank more than ever, and it's now just become such a part of my day that I didn't even feel like I needed to make a goal of that this year, because I really do feel like that is a habit to just continually be drinking water all day. Now, those were kind of my personal successes. I like to talk about work successes too. Obviously, not all of these are gonna be relatable to you because right now my job is YouTube, whereas it was teaching and I have a feeling in 10 years, maybe my work will be totally different. I don't know what I'll be doing in 10 years. So I like to share these with you. I did successfully learn to use QuickBooks for like my taxes and expenses and business account. And that has been a huge weight off my shoulders. So I'm really proud of learning that. I also created a binder to kind of organize my sponsorship contracts and like just different things, my scheduling that I'm doing for my content. I've kind of figured out a system that works for me, and I'm really glad to have that because I didn't have that in previous years. I also learned a little bit about the app Lightroom to work on like adding a preset. I basically just bought a preset because I don't know that much about Lightroom, but where I could kind of make my Instagram feed a little bit more cohesive. And so I was really glad to know how to do that now. I also did, one of my goals was to plan my YouTube content monthly, and I did successfully do that all year, and I'm going to continue that into this year, which helped a lot when it comes to making sure I had what I needed for certain videos, making sure I had the time to plan it, etc. And another thing I did more successfully last year was posting to my Instagram stories more regularly. Now in December, it was a little off because I was doing Vlogmas and it was too hard to do both, but I'm hoping to continue that this year, and I'm trying to cross post. So if you don't have Instagram, now YouTube has stories, so I'm trying to post the same things on them so you can see them over here too. Now, let's talk 2021 goals. This is the big daddy. So I've got it separated into personal and then work. And then I have some kind of goal ideas or challenges for you guys I'm going to share at the end, so that if you do sit down to write down your goals after this video, you kind of have some fresh things in your mind to try. My biggest one would be to unplug more. I feel like we could all benefit from doing this. But it doesn't have to be that all day long I'm working on unplugging. I think it just needs to be that I have specific time that I unplug. So whether that's a few hours in the evening when I say, okay, my phone's not even gonna be next to me, I'm gonna put it in the other room, maybe on a charger, and we can have that uninhibited family time where, you know, whether we're cooking together or baking or whether we're watching a movie together or just playing on the floor with our 2-year-old, having that time without my phone distracting me. Another thing I want to be better about is creating a morning routine that actually works. Last year I had some kind of morning routine goal where I got up by a certain time and I journaled maybe or whatever, and you know what? It didn't happen, and I think it didn't happen for a reason. It's not doable for me. It's not doable for me to be able to sit in the morning and journal. I wish it were, but it wasn't. So I just want to think about like what would work for me, because I just don't like rolling out of bed at whatever kind of general time. And, you know, obviously we make our coffee first thing in the morning, but beyond that, I really didn't have a routine. I want to be better about having something. So I don't really know what it's going to be yet. But I need it to be something, because I do feel like I'm not setting myself up for success. And so then I'm not getting my day started at the time I need it to get started, because, you know, 4 days a week we do have help with our daughter. And that means that we have 4 full work days that I could really be hitting the ground running in the morning and getting started. And I'm not getting started as quickly as I could be. So I need to think through that a little bit more and kind of flesh it out. I'll probably share that with you guys in a video in the future, maybe more of a chill vlog style video, but just something I need to think about a little bit more. Another one I'm excited about is to create a new fitness challenge for myself every month. So originally in December, we had a challenge where we wanted to work out every day of December. And you know what? We did a pretty good job. We didn't do it every single day. I think every week there was at least one day we didn't work out, usually just happened to be a Sunday. And then boy, once Christmas came around, there were a few days where we didn't because it was Christmas. But I liked the idea of a monthly challenge. If I make it a yearly goal, it's too much. Like if I said, okay, every single week I want to work out 5 days a week, I would rather it be every month. I really think about it and say, okay, what do I want my challenge to be this month? Because then it excites me to work at it. So again, I'm not totally sure what my January challenge is going to be. I think my challenge, I want to start it by working out 5 days a week. I think that's a really good goal. Even though we're a few days into January, I could totally start it because I've worked out at least one day this week to kickstart my year. And then maybe next month it might be, running 10 miles each week. So maybe it just means 2 5-mile runs or splitting it up more, you know, however I want that to look, but just thinking about different ways I can keep it interesting and to give myself different goals to hit every month instead of trying to hit a goal by the end of the year. This is kind of a funny one. So I've always been overwhelmed by Pinterest because there's so much, and I have like an old account that I use off and on, and like half of the folders or whatever, boards I guess they're called, I don't really use. They were ones I pinned long ago that I don't even really care about anymore. And so I think I'm gonna use like my own personal email and just make a brand new Pinterest account and just start fresh, because there's so much on Pinterest when it comes to home decor and recipes that I like, but every time I get on, I'm like, well, what are these boards? Where do I even save it? I'm not gonna be able to find it again. I think I just need to start fresh, because I feel like Pinterest can overwhelm, and I want it to be, whoa, the lighting just changed totally. I miss it, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm going to work on just creating a fresh new account with fresh new boards that are useful to me. I think one other problem I had was that I had too many boards, and I just need to keep it simple, like home decor, cooking, organization ideas, and maybe like fashion, I don't know. Keep it simple so I know where to find things, but yeah, that is a goal of mine. I challenge you, if you've missed Pinterest or you feel overwhelmed, maybe that's the way to do it, is just simplify, streamline. Another thing I want to work on this year is finding more ways to give back, whether that's donating, whether that is volunteering my time, but just finding ways that make sense to me with the gifts I have, whether that's, you know, an excess of PR and stuff, or whether that's using just different God-given talents I have, finding ways that I can do that. I get really nervous about going out and doing things that I don't know. That's just a social anxiety piece I have in me, and I'm sure I'm not alone. And so finding a way to volunteer that doesn't make me feel like I am totally going to freak out. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, please let me know. I know my husband's talked a lot about he wants to volunteer more as well. So we need to find a way that we can do that. And that's definitely in the forefront of my mind this year. I also want to read more. So I read 20 books this past year. I want to read 30 books in 2021. I can do it. The first like 3 or 4 months of last year, I was reading Game of Thrones and those books took me months. And so if I'm not reading a book that's 1,000 pages long, I think I could read even more. So that's definitely a goal. I use Goodreads to organize my reading and books I want to read. So that's definitely an app. It's free. I would highly recommend using. Another thing I want to do is find a Bible reading plan that works for me. I know not everyone believes what I believe. This is not me pressuring you. I'm just sharing what my genuine goal is, and that is a goal of mine. I want to read more of the Bible, but I want to do it in a way that makes sense. I know me, if I just start at the beginning of the Old Testament or the New Testament, that I won't get out of it what I probably could. So I'd love to find like a year-long Bible reading plan where I can read, a couple chapters at night, but it go through a way that's beneficial for things I would like to get out of the Bible. Does that make sense? You know when you open to like parts of the Bible and it's just like listing the family members of everyone that's ever lived, that was ever related to this person. It's like, what? So I want to kind of cut through the weeds of it and really get to the heart of it. I hope that made sense. Maybe one day I'll read the whole Bible, but I don't think this is gonna be the year. I also wanna find healthier, and this is where Pinterest can come in, healthier snack ideas. So we have this one snack I really like that's got like edamame and feta and like dried cranberries and basil and olive oil, and it's so good. And we can make it at the beginning of the week and make plenty, and it's a healthy snack we can have throughout the week. Well, I know myself and I like fruit and I like to eat that as a snack, but sometimes it just doesn't hit the way like a cracker would or like chips would, you know what I mean? And so trying to figure out what are some snack ideas that I can make that I can keep in the fridge and we can eat on throughout the week that I actually would want to eat. You know what I'm saying? So hit me with your ideas if you got any recipes, but I really want to focus on that this year. We've got a lot of great dinner recipe ideas. I'm gonna be sharing so many with you guys this year on my channel. But, beyond that, I wanna find some healthy snack ideas. On that note, I want to drink more tea this year. Y'all know I love coffee. I'm not giving it up. I'm always gonna have a cup or two every day. But just drinking more tea, I know it'll be better for me than drinking that 3rd cup of coffee. Probably be better for me to switch to green tea or something like that. I do have, this is not a green tea, but the cinnamon tea I always talk about. That's one I love, and that's kind of what's kickstarted this idea of, maybe instead of only drinking 1 cup of tea in the evening, why don't I drink a cup of tea in the afternoon as well when I'm wanting something warm to sip on and I would reach for coffee, switch it to tea. So that's a goal of mine that's totally doable. Another goal is just being more real with y'all. I tend to be somewhat of a perfectionist and I like to cut out certain things. And I do think I've gotten better about leaving myself in my videos. I definitely have gotten better at that. But I do feel like sometimes I will think, okay, Jessica, that was way too wordy, so then I'll cut the whole section out. And I'll do that when I'm editing, like on the cutting room floor, I will cut out huge sections of me going on a tangent, but I know that sometimes you guys don't mind if I'm going on a tangent. And I don't want to get back into that habit of cutting out every bit of my personality, which I feel like I'm starting to get towards. So I'm trying to be better about like chilling out, trying not to rush through videos, and just like being with you guys in the videos. I feel like I've been rushing through the past few months and I'm trying to veer back away from that. So that is a goal of mine that is personal and work, but I figure you might want to know that because this is a very personal job, and depending on how much I share with you guys, which we share a lot, especially in our vlogs, you guys know a lot about me and you see a lot about me behind the scenes, and I don't want you to feel like what you're seeing when I'm sitting here is different than what you're seeing in vlogs. I'm the same person and I want that to come through in both ways. So that is something I kind of have my eyes on this year that I'm wanting to make sure I stick to. Speaking of sticking to things, I also want to create and stick to a budget. We tend to have budgets in mind, and we use the app Mint to keep our budgets kind of in check, but we really don't check it as often as we should, and we really don't adjust it as often as we should. So I really want to get back in that habit of really sitting down with my husband and looking at it and saying, okay, what are we spending each week in groceries? What should we be spending? Do we really need to be spending that? What should I be spending for, things for my videos? That is a separate business expense for me, but even still making sure that I'm not going crazy within that and making sure I'm staying within what I think is a sensible budget for something that is my job. All right, so going to my work goals, these are very YouTube specific, so I'll just share it anyway. I want to try to learn how to do reels on Instagram and in turn TikTok. I do not have a TikTok account. Well, I do, but I just like watch TikToks. But I've always looked at it as like, oh, that's like for people doing funny things or for doing dance. And I'm like, well, that's not, neither of those things are things I would do, you know? And so I felt like it was out of reach for me. But I'm like, you know, there are makeup-y TikToks. I just haven't really watched many of them. And there's makeup-y reels. And I feel like that would be a really good creative challenge for me that would push me out of my comfort zone. It would force me to learn something new, which is always what I'm trying to do. And so that's something that's a goal of mine, is to learn how to do these Instagram reels / TikToks. Let me know if you have any great, like if there's a blog post that just lays out how to do reels or that lays out how to do TikToks. Please let me know, because the few times I've kind of looked into it, I've gotten overwhelmed, and that's why I haven't done it yet. On that note, I definitely want to be better about regularly uploading to social media. And really what I mean is like, I'll do Instagram stories regularly, but I don't do like Instagram feed posts, because I always think they need to be perfect and polished, and you know, and they don't. They just don't. And I need to stop thinking that posting, and this is my own neuroses, trust me. I know not everyone, but to me, I'm like, oh, it's like, needs to be like this curated thing, and you know, it needs to be for a reason. I'm like for a holiday or something. I'm like, Jessica, why are you building this up? It's not that big of a deal. I could post a picture once a day of random things and just talk to you guys in the caption, and I turn it into this big convoluted thing that it's not. So I need to be better about letting my real life show through on that, when I show my real life in every other way. So why not show it on there too? Another thing that is a goal of mine is working on my merch. I already have, actually it should be coming in the mail, my prototype of the merch that is going to be launching very soon. Very, very soon. It might have even launched by the time you're seeing this, depending. If it is, if I have launched it, I will have the link in the description box. I'm so excited for this year and the merch ideas I have. I have total complete creative control now over the way that I'm doing my merch versus how I did it before, and I'm really excited about that. And so, yeah. So my ideas for you guys to help you set yourself up for success is, first of all, think about your goals and think about, are there any that you could set up to be a goal monthly or quarterly? Because like, for example, for me with work, if I start to try to think about, well, I want to learn Instagram Reels and TikTok, and I want to launch merch, and I want to regularly post to social media, that's a lot to start all at once in January and February. So thinking about, okay, if this first quarter, I'm just going to focus on this one goal, and then the next quarter of the year, I'm going to work on TikToks and Reels. That helps me visualize these goals and helps me focus in on the one instead of trying to focus little bits on all of them at once. So think about, how could you split your goals over the course of the year instead of trying to do them all year long, all at the same time. Another idea would be to create a visual way for you to keep track of these. So if you're trying to be better at drinking water, use an app for it, or maybe keep track of it in your daily planner. If you're trying to work out more, maybe just print out a monthly spread and create a little system to mark how you worked out that day, maybe how long you worked out, what it was you did, how many calories you burned, whatever it is you care about, and just have that devoted just to your workouts. So there's so many different ways to visualize it. You could do a bar graph. As silly and as elementary as that may sound, a bar graph can be really great because you can see like, okay, if I'm wanting to read 30 books this year, I can mark it every time I finish a book until I hit that goal. Visual reminders are huge. And as silly as they might sound to some of you, I'm telling you they can make a huge difference. So that is another idea to help you reach your goals. I thoroughly enjoy goal setting, and it wasn't until, I'll be 32 very soon. Oh my gosh. It wasn't really until I hit like 30 that I realized how powerful setting goals can be, because then you're not just trudging through year after year, maybe changing a bit here and there. When you're setting goals and you're keeping track of them, you're really seeing how you are changing, growing, and morphing as a person. And I think that's really, really cool and can be really, really empowering. So I challenge you, if you've never done this kind of thing, try it. I really think you're gonna be motivated. You're not gonna hit every single goal you set, most likely, but you're gonna hit some of them, and that is improvement, and that is huge. So I love you all. Thank you so much for sticking with me in this long, verbose video. Another SAT 400 word, I think. If you enjoyed and you wanna follow me on this journey of 2021, I have so many exciting videos planned. I upload 3 times a week. I'd love to have you join us. Definitely subscribe and catch them as they come out. If you missed my best of the year videos where I talked about makeup, makeup. I talked about my fashion and lifestyle and home cooking favorites. I did 3 different videos of the Jammy Awards, as I call them. I will link the playlist down below if you want to catch them. Thank you so much, Ritual, for sponsoring a portion of this video. Again, if you are interested in trying Ritual vitamins and getting 10% off your first 3 months, I will have the link and coupon code down in the description box, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.